Here are 10 things I wish I knew as a beginner runner.
On the surface of it, running is a pretty simple thing. You move two legs, you don't need much, but the more and more that you do it, the more you learn, the more you realise, and there is actually quite a lot to it. If I was starting running in 2026, these are the things that I would want to know. Basically, I started running during lockdown. Like a lot of people, I used to hate running. Then I found a love for it during lockdown, carried on doing it. I've done 3 official marathons now. 1 unofficial one in Tunisia with the hardest Giza, which was incredible. Last year I got PBs in every race from marathon down to 5k. I broke 20 minutes just before the end of the year, which was awesome. I am by no means an elite runner. I am an average runner, but these are the things that I've learned. Hopefully that can resonate with you if you're watching this and you want to start running in 2026. Awesome, good for you, well done for clicking on this video. Let's get into it.
Number 1, get yourself a good pair of running shoes.
When I first started running, I went out running in Adidas Ultra Boosts, which I thought were good running shoes, and they're not. They're like lifestyle shoes that you can go to the gym in, walk around in, maybe do the odd run in. I think they do have specific Ultra Boost shoes now, Adidas, that are for running, but the ones that I was using, I'll put them on screen somewhere, they're not running shoes at all. I had 2 pairs of them. They were really old, so the foam in them was rubbish. I got shin splints from them, didn't realise it was the shoe's fault. I was just like, oh, it's because I'm new to running, which it can be as well. There are so many things that go into getting injuries with running, especially shin splints. A lot of beginner runners get them. I did, but one factor that you can do, and it's a nice thing to do as well if you're getting into running, get yourself a good pair of running shoes. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what running shoes to get. Everyone is different. Everyone has different feet, but one pair of shoes that have worked well for me that are daily trainers are Asics Nova Blasts. I got the 3s, and then I had them for like a year and a half, and I got the 4s, I think 5s are out now, but they've been fantastic. Most companies like Asics, Nike, Adidas, Brooks, most running brands do a basic daily shoe that you can get that's around about 100 and 120 pounds. A lot of people in the past year have said that their Adidas Evo SLs, I think that's what they're called, are incredible, and you can pick them up for about 100 pounds now. You don't have to get really, really expensive shoes, and please, if you're a beginner runner, do not get carbon plated shoes. Just because they're more expensive doesn't mean they're better. They're fantastic once you get more into running and you're going for like really fast paces and trying to beat your PBs and all that stuff. But as a beginner runner, just get a nice pair of plain daily running shoes. You can go into a local running store if you've got one. You can get your gait analysed. Someone in the store should help you out and it should be good. Just tell them that you want a nice simple pair of daily running shoes and you don't want to spend too much, and then you can get started. And then you'll learn more and more about running shoes and you'll watch a load of videos like I do and you'll want to buy 1,000,000 of them. But at first, just go for a simple 1 pair of daily shoes.
Number 2, you're going too fast. You need to slow down.
You might be thinking, no, I'm not. I can only do a 5k in 40 minutes or something. You're running too fast. A lot of people, when they first start running, their only experience with running is either playing sports or like doing 100 meters at school or running very, very short bursts, and the pace that you run, you can't hold for longer than a few minutes. When you're starting to do running, you'll want to be able to run for 10, 20, 30, 40 plus minutes at a time, which means that you're going to have to go slower. You're going to have to take a slice of humble pie and go slower. This was hard for me to do. A good way to do it is by doing it on heart rate or perceived effort. Lots of people's heart rates are different, meaning that like it might go up and down, but a good way that I like to try and do it is if my heart rate is around about 150, I know that's a relatively easy pace, and sometimes that feels like it's really slow. And that's okay. That's good for you. That's what you need. If you're running too fast all the time, then when you're doing a training workout or when you're trying to recover or whatever, your body can't. You need these little slow training runs, and that helps build up your aerobic base, which means you can run further for longer. Another good way to do it, like I think I mentioned, is perceived effort. Literally, if you feel like you're going slowly, that's probably good. A lot of people say if you can hold a conversation while you're running at that pace, that means it's slow enough. That's how slow you need to go. For a lot of beginner runners, that probably means only a little bit faster than walking. That's okay. But having said that, number 3,
you need to run slow, but you also need to run fast. And the 80-20 rule is quite important.
A lot of people are like, you need to run slower, without the caveat of you have to run fast as well if you want to get better. A good rule for this is the 80-20 rule. So a lot of your runs, 80% of your runs should be not all out. There should be easy or steady or recovery runs or something like that. Just the basic, I'd say boring miles, but a lot of the time they're more enjoyable because you're not gassing yourself out. And then 20% of the time are the times where you're potentially doing a workout, potentially just trying to run a bit faster for a bit longer. As you progress as a runner, you might have interval sessions, you might have all sorts of different workouts, but at first you could literally split up your runs so that 80% of them are slower and 20% of them are slightly faster and slightly harder.
Number 4, run for time, not distance.
A lot of people are like, I need to run a 5k, I need to run a 10k, I need to do whatever. They go out and have a distance goal in mind, and then however long that takes is however long that takes. A good way, especially for beginner runners to do it, and I told my wife this and a couple of my friends, is to go out for time. So say your longest time that you've run without stopping is 5 minutes. Next time you go out, try and do that for 7 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes. And before you know it, you'll be running for 30 minutes straight and covering that 5k distance or whatever it is without thinking of the distance, it's just the time. That's something that helped me at first, and maybe it'll help you too.
Number 5, you definitely shouldn't just try to run through an injury.
This is what a lot of beginner runners do. This is what I did, and sometimes still do. When I was training for my first ever marathon, literally I had only got my first pair of running shoes. I was training for a marathon, put up the mileage too fast, my knee hurt, my shins hurt, and I vividly remember going out for a training run that was about half a marathon long, and my knee was killing. I was like, oh, I'll just push through it. And I did, I completed the run, but then I got really, really bad knee pain and had to stop training for like 5 weeks. It's not worth that. You can't run through it. Again, take some of that humble pie. Sometimes it's a lot better to stop and not run when you're injured than it is to go through it, because it creates more problems.
Your running form will change throughout time for the better. Cadence, stride length, leaning, all that kind of stuff.
At first, my stride length was really long and I was bouncing up and down, quite like, I don't know, a sprinter. I used to play football quite a lot. That's lots of short bursts of sprinting. I was quite good at sprinting at school as well. My legs are just built that way, I think. And when I got that knee injury and the shin splint, someone told me if I try and increase my cadence, which is the amount of steps that I take per minute, meaning that I take shorter little steps as if I'm like running on hot coals or ice or something, instead of massive long bounds, it means that the pressure that's going through my shins and my knees and all my joints and stuff is decreased, because the contact point that I have is right underneath my body instead of slightly in front or something like that. That seemed to help. I was also bouncing up quite a lot. That's just how I run, which meant that if I was doing lots of long runs, and it happened when I was playing football as well, towards the end of a match, my calves would like start to cramp. So I was consciously trying to not bounce up so much and go forward. So I would slightly lean forward, but from the hip, not from the whole body. Try not to bounce up as much. Try to make sure that the strike point that I've got is right underneath my shoulders, in between the middle of my body, and that the cadence is around about 170-ish. Again, lots of people, it's different if you've got different sized legs, if you're running different paces. The faster you run, usually the higher the cadence is, but if you try and just... Yeah, that's a professional way to describe it. It seems to help for me. Something to keep an eye on. Again, a lot of this stuff, you know, you're not going to remember all this stuff and try and do it all in one run. Again, everyone's different. So many things that go into it, but maybe try and remember it if you're going on loads of different runs, and keep it at the back of your mind. Number 8, you really do get what you put in. If you're trying to set yourself a lofty goal, the more that you train, generally, the more likely you will be to hit that goal. That goes with pretty much everything in life, but in running, sometimes you can be like, oh, I'm going to skip that workout, and then running humbles you. It really, really does humble you. I've been in a few races where I've been absolutely gassed out because I've not done the training required to get the goal that I needed. However, on the flip side, I did Barcelona Marathon last year in March. I trained my arse off. I missed a couple of sessions, sure, but I really, really took that training block seriously, and it paid off. I set myself a goal and a pace target that I genuinely didn't think I could do, and I did it for 26 miles. I'm slightly not that fit at the moment, so even just comprehending how I did that is crazy, and it's crazy how fast you lose it as well. But I could probably get it back if I did the same or similar training plan too, but you really do get what you put in.
Sometimes it's actually better to skip a run.
Your body tells you what it needs, and sometimes you don't know what it needs. But a lot of the time, say if you're ill, you've got a cold, but you've got to run, sometimes it is better to not run. And that's, again, if you're really getting into running, it's sometimes hard to be like, yeah, I'm not going to run today. I might go for a run after filming this, and I've got a bit of a cold, but I'm just an idiot. Sometimes you need to listen to your body and be like, yeah, it's actually going to make things worse. It's probably better to rest and recover and then run when you're feeling a lot better. That goes with injuries and illnesses, for sure.
And number 10, fueling is so important, especially hydration.
Something, again, that I paid no mention to when I first started running is fueling your body. And that is hydration, number 1, and then fuel, food, probably number 2. I would say hydration is the most important thing. I was going out on runs without even being like, yeah, have I drank water in the last hour or so? I don't know. I was going out on half marathon training runs without really drinking any water or bringing anything with me. Hydration is super important. If you're on a race, a lot of the time they have water stations as you go on. But if you're just running yourself in the local woods, around the roads or whatever, you don't really have that. You can buy stuff like hydration vests, you can bring a little flask with you, but it is the most important to make sure you're well hydrated before you go out on that run, and then you can keep topping that up. A lot of people like to have electrolyte little tablets. They're really good for replenishing your salts. Definitely look into getting those. You can get them pretty cheap on like Amazon. What I quite like to do if I'm doing a long run in the morning is have coffee, just a black coffee. I find that milk messes up my stomach, so just a black coffee. And then toast or bagels with something like peanut butter, jam, banana, that kind of stuff. That sets me up well for a run. It seems to work. High carbs, bit of energy with sugar. Works for me. Might work for you. If you're going out on a little 5K, it's not as important, but you still want to make sure you're hydrated. If you're going out on a run and you're not hydrated, you will feel awful. And when I was a beginner runner, when I was first starting running 5-6 years ago, again, wouldn't even go into my mind. I'd just go out on a run and sometimes feel awful and be like, what is going on? Why do I feel so bad? And I reckon it's because I wasn't hydrated properly. That's 10 things that I wish I knew, but I guess another thing that I wish I knew was running isn't always going to feel great. You'll hear people talk about the runner's high and how running makes them feel amazing. And then you might go out on your first run, your second run, your third run, whatever, and you might not feel that great at all. You might feel awful. Every time you run, you just feel like, what is the point? I promise you, if you take your time and, like I said in, I think the first or second point, slow down a bit, you will get to the point where you feel amazing during and after a run. It's incredible. A runner's high is the best drug in the world. It's so good. And if you've not experienced that yet and you're watching this video, I hope you do, and I hope some of these tips will help you feel that runner's high, because it is such an incredible feeling. Well, thank you for watching this video. I've got a couple of other videos on my channel, such as the last one I did, which was me breaking the 20-minute 5K barrier. I'm pretty proud of that. The video, I think, is quite good too, so if you've made it this far in this video, please check that one out. All right, subscribe for more. I'll see you all in the next video.